We begin on Saturday in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, which kicks off at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Georgia Southern against Ohio. Danny, what's we were talking about Clay Helton. I think it was before the show yesterday. This was the Georgia Southern team that, as we'd mentioned before, was the I think Georgia Southern got its name on the Sun Belt Conference office because if you remember, it was their donations of wins to the rest of the conference that allowed the Sun Belt to get 12 teams bowl eligible. Georgia Southern got bowl eligible, then lost everybody, just handing out wins left and right. What stands out to you about this Georgia Southern Ohio matchup in Myrtle Beach?
Something you alluded to right there is I try to look for, again, I hate picking bowl games. I think it's so hard to find an edge. I know our boy Bud's going to be all over it. But one of the things I do try to look for is kind of momentum coming in or, like you mentioned, losing your last 4 games of the season. Like that can't be a great sign. I know sometimes your schedule gets a lot tougher. Also looking at Clay Helton's, success or lack thereof in bowls, even going back to his time at USC. 1-4 straight up and 0-5 against the spread in his last 5 bowl games. And the other thing, there are some pretty good bowl trackers, like opt-out transfer portal trackers. I was alarmed at the number of guys that are in the portal for all these. I pictured it all of like the top tier programs or, like we're so focused on the names at the top of the list. But when you have 1,100 players in the portal already, and you're going to find a team like Ohio has 10 guys that are in the transfer portal, including their quarterback, Curtis Work. So it's just, how the heck do you try to handicap this thing? I don't know. I will be taking notes with the chat on a lot of these. I'm not joking. I don't know where you find the edge in a lot of these.
I like somebody in the tailgate. It's time for Sicko Bowls. Let's go.
They're all sicko.
These are all sick. Tom, Bud, I've got a thought here, but I'll let y'all get next word.
I mean, I would lean Georgia Southern just because, again, Danny mentioned it. Like Ohio's got a whole lot of guys in the portal right now. Rourke is gone. Miles Cross, one of their better receivers, is in the portal. Like when you look at teams at this level, like at the G5, and not even the top of their leagues for the most part, these aren't exactly the most have a ton of depth, a ton of ready-made depth. So when you look at a team like Ohio, when the starters are hitting the portal, it's really hard to have a lot of faith in what they have behind them at this point. So, but it also depends on who's in the portal. Like quarterback, obviously huge. If they've got linemen in the portal, that's huge. Receivers, maybe not as much. Running backs, maybe not as much. But based on what I know about these teams right now, I lean Georgia Southern. But this is like bowl season is live, but betting season. It's really difficult to bet these things before the games start. You kind of want to see how it's going and go from there.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, I think you do need to be aware of who's playing and not playing. 2, all of that stuff, if it's been out for like more than a day or so, is priced into the market already. Mm-hmm. So don't delude yourself into thinking that knowing Curtis Rourke isn't playing,
it means that Georgia Southern is a lock.
Right, exactly. Like, guys, do you know who else knows that? Every single person who bets this stuff, right? People aren't casually betting that. Maybe some people are. Not enough money in the market to say so. The lines will move a good bit by like 48 hours, 72 hours before bowl time because a lot of the limits on these bowls are still really low. Okay. Like, I don't know what FanDuel's taking right now, but I'm not going to name them, but like I can look here on Spank Odds at certain other books and see they're taking like 3,000 for a game that's 10 days away. That is really low when that book will take 50K, every 60 seconds at post essentially. Right. So the groups that bet this stuff, like, as groups, they're going to wait to the extent they can because it's just not worth it to them to get down big time money because you can't, because the max bet size are too small. I think if you have real edge here, it's identifying cluster spots, right? Wait a second. That's like 4 guys out at one position. They're going to be down to a walk-on here. A guy really at a position that you really can't hide a guy. Everybody knows Curtis Rourke's out. I think most people would know this if they're really researching it, but The backup is also out for Ohio. So Harris, do you guys remember the San Diego State game that Ohio played?
The third stringer.
Yeah. So Harris is out for the year. So it's going to be some third string kid for them. Georgia Southern just played like crap down the final stretch, as Chip said. So this was Ohio like 3-ish at open, right? And now it's moved almost a full touchdown to Georgia Southern 3.5, or yeah, about that. So like it's been priced in.
Well, that's funny because I don't even need to check availability. I got a best bet right off the rip. Okay. I don't care who's playing. This is 11 a.m. Eastern time in Myrtle Beach. How the hell do you think anything's going to function properly at 11 a.m. in Myrtle Beach? Come on now. Like this, you are showing up. And by the way, we also have 10 to 11 mile an hour winds. That's not quite wonder conditions, but you get down there by the coast, things can get just a little bit breezy. A missed field goal here, a pass that doesn't quite get delivered on time, especially if we're dealing with backup quarterbacks. Under 48.5. Come on now. This you spot that 11 a.m. at Myrtle Beach. And maybe, you know what? Speaking of the live betting principle, that might be one where if there's an early touchdown and all of a sudden this thing jumps up to like above 56 for some reason, then all of a sudden you get a really good number. But I've caused I've had some really rough mornings in Myrtle Beach. Okay, I'm not going to incriminate myself here in this public platform, but I will say that there is low motivation to avoid entirely the distractions and the temptations of Myrtle Beach. And so I'm going to say under 48.5 is the best bet in Dirty Myrtle.
Also, like Ohio's defense is legitimately pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little bit of a drop back from wagon status, but still one to do. Yep.
One other just kind of guiding principle. Books are shorting the money line prices on dogs. Right. So everybody's like, oh, it's bowl season. It's crazy. Who knows who's going to win? I'm just going to take the dogs. You can look over recent years. They are not giving you the same price. Like a 3-point dog is priced at, like X -5 instead of X for the appropriate money line price.
But we're still going to love it thanks to FanDuel and Moneyline Sprinkles.
Yes, exactly right. But I'm saying like there is also value in taking points. So make sure that what you're taking is appropriately priced.
That's very, very good.
We do love FanDuel and Moneyline Sprinkles.
Yeah. All right. So that'll get you started at 11 a.m. We are wall to wall and for some windows, multiple screens there on Saturday. 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, Howard and Florida A&M in the Celebration Bowl. I have not watched every single game. So does anybody got anyone on that? I would just say go Rattlers.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan. Yeah.
Let's go.
Fam got some legit transfers. I was like, oh, that like I've not guys who were great in college, but like dudes who at least seeing them in the state of Florida in high school. It's like, oh, that guy can really run. So
Coach Willie Simmons is a good one.
Yeah,
they've got a good program. So all right, and then 2:15. All right, okay.
Contrarian.
You and Brendan Whitted.
You don't give the Bison a touchdown and think they're not going to just run right over you.
All right, at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time in the New Orleans Bowl, it's Jacksonville State against Louisiana. This is the 7th New Orleans Bowl appearance for the Raging Cajuns in the last 12 years, which brought about a very humorous outburst. You're sitting there and you're like, oh, do you think that fans are going to be bored by this? And the response was, if you saw how uncomfortable our fans were in Shreveport last year, they're going to love being inside in the dome this year. But we are looking at Jacksonville State, the Rich Rod's Gamecocks, 2.5-point favorites, over under of 58.5. What stands out about this one?
I think as long as it stays under 3, like this line has moved a lot in Jacksonville State's direction since it first opened, but I still like the Gamecocks here at -2.5. For me, I think they have the better defense. And then I think on offense, they have the most dangerous player in Zion Webb, who is not, he's not a great passer. He's a very much better runner than he is a passer at the QB position. And he's also inconsistent, but he's got the ability to make stuff happen that I don't think anybody else on the field does. So when I put those factors together, I think Jack State is where I want to be in this one.
Yep. I mean, give me the team that is making its first ever bowl appearance. jacked up. I mean, that is as basic and vibesy as it gets, but I think that I can rock with that and feel comfortable holding that ticket.
But at the same time, they're not the chillin' Cajuns, so you can't just take it for granted.
True, they do rage.
Mm-hmm.
Tom,
Yeah,
what
they
are
are
you using for home field
5-1
here?
all time in the New Orleans Bowl outright too.
Mm.
Louisiana's.
What was that,
Do
Bud?
you?
What do you use for home field here?
I mean, I feel like in real life, if this was a regular season game, I don't know. I think it'd be heavier, but in a bowl game atmosphere, I don't know that it's that strong. I would give it about 1.5. I just think Jacksonville State's a much better team.
Yeah, I was using 1. Okay. I prefer Jack State here. I'm not betting this game, but if I have to do like bowl pick'em type stuff, if it's 2.5, I would definitely take Jacks. At 3, I would probably take Jacks.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of both of these teams this year, and I'm a lot more impressed with what I see from Jacksonville State than what I saw from the Cajuns on the season.
Motivation too. I mean, Chip mentioned it. You got one team trying to create, do something historical. You've got another one who wasn't that long ago played in the championship game and was, trying to take shots at New Year's Six bowls. Yeah, I think Jacksonville State's probably the right side.
That is at 2:15 p.m. Eastern time. Then at 3:30, it's about halftime-ish, maybe a little bit second quarter, we'll get kickoff in the Cure Bowl in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be Miami, Ohio against App State. Mountaineers are 6.5-point favorites. Who's got a feeling on this one?
You almost called it a lock.
I know. See, I am honest with our community in the Cover 3 tailgate and beyond that if we're going to call, we're not going to force locks here, but we are going to give you at least our picks and our best bets.
I mean, Miami's going to be on its third string QB here. Gabbard's out and the backup has entered the portal after they win the MAC. But that defense is just so good that I don't know. I might bet it. We'll see. I'm probably going to wait till the game starts just to get a better read of it. That's the case from almost all these games. But I think giving nearly a touchdown to Miami is a bit much. Because I just think defensively they do a very good job of slowing teams down and disrupting stuff. And it's going to make it difficult for App State, an offense that to me, week in and week out has been very inconsistent. It's hard for me to trust them to be good enough in this game to pull away by that much. So I would take the Red Hawks on the spread, but I also kind of like the under here.
Yeah, I lean Miami, Ohio because of the defense. They don't really have any opt-outs I care about.
And special teams. They've been sick
Yeah,
special teams all year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they care, certainly. I'm assuming that App State cares as well. Like they don't have a ton of important opt-outs here. I'm a little hesitant to just go nuts on this because I do think that the quality of athlete in the Sun Belt is a good bit superior to what is in the MAC. So in comparing some notes with folks, I think I'm lower on the MAC than most, but I still would prefer for pick'em purposes to take Miami, Ohio here. Like how much can you really take off points for Avion Smith not playing? He's terrible.
Come on, let me see it. Let me see the vase. Let me see.
Right. But also it is a little scary that they didn't play the backup over him. So what does that say about the backup? Like they're still running Avion Smith out there.
Maybe I don't know if the backup is mobile enough. Maybe that's why they wanted Smith, was just because of his legs. But I don't know yet. It's
also too, like, I don't think we're talking about losing Jordan Travis or Bo Nix or Michael Penix, even going from Gabbert to Smith. Like Gabbert's pretty good, but it wasn't like he was lighting him up. They didn't ask him to do a ton. I think he had one game over 300 yards. So I think there might be a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to losing, your quarterbacks when they're not that reliant on quarterback lifting them up.
Bud, do you think that fading the MAC is built into the price here? And is that something that is still like if you are filling out those bowl pick'ems, is that something that you can bring in as a principle? Because I mean, Tom, I feel like you and I have talked about that for years. Like if you don't know if it's a coin flip, you don't know which way to lean, fade the MAC, because I don't have the stats in front of me, but I do believe that it has not been a profitable conference, either straight up or against the spread in the postseason in recent years on the whole.
I think it's rebounded the last year or two a little bit, but yeah, there was like a 4-year stretch there where it was just like printing money, just betting against the MAC in a bowl game.
Yeah, that's where I'm App State. on this one because like you mentioned about just comparing notes, thinking about the level of athlete, Sunbelt versus MAC. I think that's what we see sometimes play out here in some of these postseason games is that App State, for example, let's think about Joey Aguilar. Let's think about App State's passing game. Like Miami, Ohio's defense is excellent when they are not playing offense with athletes like App State.
Homer.
Let's go. Also the under from Tom Fornelli. All right, so that's at 3:30. Now, the follow-up to the New Orleans Bowl on one of your screens will then be the New Mexico Bowl. And that is New Mexico State against Fresno State. And Jerry Kill's Aggies are 3.5-point favorites against the Bulldogs. Tom, Fresno's got like a whole like jumbo jet of players out, right?
Yeah, I mean, Fresno had a very rough finish to the season, which then led to Jeff Tedford stepping away for health reasons, and that kind of made how just bad they kind of looked over the last month. A little more clarity on what had happened there. But yeah, they've got a ton of guys in the portal since. Tedford will not be coaching this game, and then you've got New Mexico State, who's mostly at full strength here and does still have Diego Pavia. So if I'm betting this game, I'm not betting against the Aggies here. I would lay the 3.5. I would even, look for an alt line, see if you can get it more closer to a touchdown.
I like the over.
Ooh.
Neither defense is outstanding. I think the quarterback probably being out for if it's Pavia or if it's Blaze Berlowitz. I mean, Berlowitz stepped in. He played all right. Like, I think they'll be able to put up some points. But I also think Mikey Keene, getting him healthy, kind of away from, I think he had a concussion. Like, it should get the best version of him. He can put up some points on the board. So I don't know what the trends are with bowl season, but like when we always ask who wants to be there, to me, defense is an effort thing. And if you're running around there like, hey, I don't want to get hurt, let me just kind of give a little bit of effort to show like I'm acting like I want to play. And I think this is one of those games where you could see a higher scoring game.
Let's see. So are we going to be closer to Rio Grande in the valley or the foothills area of Glenwood Hills? We've got an elevation that ranges from 4,900 to 6,700 feet. If that's some thin air, then, ball could fly. And I've checked the wind. We do not have wonder conditions. I kind of like that overplay. I think that we could really see him get out there and sling it.
If you want to get into the motivation stuff, clearly, I think being able to play a bowl game in front of your fans is probably good motivation for New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Was it last year that all the flights got canceled to Detroit so that none of their fans could get there, or something happened where like they that, were, yeah. So like they made a bowl game last year. None of their fans were able to go to it. If you're Fresno, look, guys, playing in the New Mexico Bowl has to be incredibly disappointing.
Yeah.
You were deep.
You were in the mix for the Mountain West Championship in early November.
Right.
You thought you were going to Vegas for the Vegas Bowl and the conference title game.
Congratulations. Now it's out.
At this price, I probably would pass and watch live to make sure that Pavia is I definitely assume he's playing. I want to make sure he's actually healthy and looks like he can throw it around because the arm was a problem against Liberty.
How about Jerry Kill, New Mexico State, going for their second 10-win season? Their last one, 1960. It's kind of like that Jacksonville State vibe, like dangle that carrot out there. Hey, we got a chance to do something really special. It's been a great season for him, too.
That staff can coach, man.
Yeah.
I mean, so can Fresno, honestly, but yeah.
You're going to have to drag Diego Pavia off that field. I don't care if his arm's hanging on by a thread. He'll learn to throw left-handed, damn it.
Although, watch out. Fresno State could want to win one for the skipper.
All right. So then at 7:30, I mean, look, this is kind of nice the way it's staggered. 2:15, 3:30, 5:45, 7:30. So this will be the game that follows Miami, Ohio against App State. It is UCLA and Boise State in the LA Bowl, brought to you by Gronk, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
Singing
Gronk
the national
Bowl.
anthem.
Gronk is sponsoring a bowl game?
Yes.
Yeah. Title sponsor.
UCLA and Boise State. UCLA a 4-point favorite. So let's recap. So Dante Moore is in the portal. I'm guessing Latu is going to opt out.
Opt out.
Yeah, opt out. Taylon Green, the Boise State quarterback, is not only in the portal, but is already committed to Arkansas. Ashton Jeanty, as of this conversation, is not only back, but says he's playing in the bowl game. I mean, Chip Kelly in a non-conference game of little significance. Ashton Jeanty, all the good defensive coaches are gone from UCLA. I mean, it kind of feels
Boise.
like money. Boise all day, +4.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Oh, great. I love it. Tell me
So
why.
Green's out, and so is the backup quarterback. Remember, they were playing Madsen, alternating him with Green, and he's out for the year. So you're looking at a true freshman quarterback for Boise.
Does he know how to put the ball in the gut of number 2?
CJ Tiller.
Yeah, I don't think Boise's stealing here. Athlete quality wise, I think UCLA is a lot more athletic. If they care and show up, I think they should run them.
Do you think UCLA will care and show up?
You remember the Sun Bowl against Pitt?
I would prefer to live bet this game. I would like to see exactly how well Garbers throws the ball around, and if UCLA cares, I'd be willing to lay sort of a more premium price.
I do think Boise State should care. I mean, they got their coach they wanted. I saw the reaction from the players when Spencer Danielson was named officially the head coach. They all, you think they're going to play? I don't know.
They also played like crap against Air Force. I mean, I know they won a game, but they were really disappointing there. So I don't. Maybe they're saved up good effort for this coach against them.
Yeah. I like the under. It's 2 freshman quarterback, UCLA's defense, but without Latu, without Dan.
Is Garbers out?
I think there's a chance Garbers is, yeah.
Okay. Really?
That man has been helped off by a teammate like 6 times this year.
Yeah.
This guy is always
Garbers is always hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm just worried about this game because the last years when Jimmy Kimmel was sponsoring it, there were some great Laura Rutledge segments with the puking camel. And I just wonder if since Kimmel's not sponsoring it, does the puking camel return or is he gone? Because that to me was a key part of this game every year. It's one of the great college football traditions of all time.
Well, this game was also where Florida kicked the saddest field goal of all time.
No, was that LA?
No, that was in Vegas.
That was Vegas.
That was Vegas Bowl. Okay, okay. Oregon State.
The saddest field goal of all time.
Oregon State, Florida. Okay, wrapping up Saturday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. Who's going to stay up for the Independence Bowl, wire to wire? I mean, this is what, a 12:45 p.m. Eastern time finish between Cal and Texas Tech.
This one was alarming at how many players are in the portal already for both teams, like 15 plus for each team. It's crazy. Shuck, of course, he was gone, but he wasn't playing that much anyway.
I mean, yeah.
Over?
Sure.
I kind of like over. Fast-paced.
Keep
2 really good running backs.
2 a.m.
Yeah. Over. If I'm going to be up late, let's at least cash this ticket. Great sleep hedge.
This is one of those games, Chip, because we have to do a bowl draft every year, like us and the editorial team for the games we're responsible for. And this is the old veteran move of Tom and Chip, just completely avoiding this game. So once we see the start time, all these young bucks are looking for, this game will be fun. Chip and I are just like, okay, what day and time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All the young bucks are getting all the Power 5 teams. And we're like, give me that 2:15 start. Let's go.
give me a couple Saturday afternoon games and a New Year's Day. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Yeah. I would say over, if anything, right there.